Good evening, or I should say almost good morning, as we are approaching midnight, as this is the last video I'm doing for the night, and then I'm going to go get some rest and come back at 7 a.m. Well, what's happened since then is that we've had our stationary front set up basically bisecting Long Island, dropping down through the New York City metro. To the north of the stationary front, temperatures are in the 30s. To the south, they're in the 40s. And what we're seeing here in Connecticut is continuation of snow becoming light to moderate as the strongest lifting is heading up towards New England in the first wave. Down towards Long Island, temperatures range from the upper 30s to lower 40s. We started to see temperatures fall over the past 2 hours. In the Hudson River Valley, temperatures range from the upper 20s to lower 30s, and it's continuing into northern New Jersey. Nice thermal gradient setting up here. Again, periods of snow continuing, and we're starting to change back over in Newark with the reports of rain and snow taking shape in those locations. As we head further to the west over northeastern Pennsylvania, snow is starting to taper off. Winds are starting to back to the west here. And then as we head down towards southeastern Pennsylvania, you're seeing again those temperatures around Allentown starting to fall back towards freezing. We're seeing areas of snow starting to change back over. And again, a lot of this precipitation is starting to taper off as the strongest lifting is heading off towards the northeast. But you could see in Philadelphia, for example, temperatures have fallen back into the 30s. You can see down towards central New Jersey, we're falling back through the 40s once again, and down towards southern New Jersey, also in the upper 40s. And there's our stationary front cutting through central and southern New Jersey as the colder air is starting to win this fight. Taking a look at the radar and surface map, we'll update this real fast from WeatherTap. Again, your heaviest precipitations lifting away along the stationary front, kind of hanging on a little bit more than what was expected. So we're continuing to seeing rain here in central New Jersey. We'll have to watch overnight tonight to see if this precipitation lingers with this stationary front via frontogenesis and what that might mean as the colder air builds in. But I'm expecting this to all taper off as we get this dry slot, as the 700 millibar low that's developing starts to lift through the region. That's why we're seeing this precipitation cut down. But you can see towards the back end here, the precipitation shield is starting to reorganize, and it's going to be heading towards our neck of the woods. Taking a look at some of the mid-level guidance here. This is at 850 millibars, the latest observations showing that 850 millibar line starting to sink south. This was pushing north of Long Island. Now it is dropping south of Long Island and cutting through north central New Jersey, just to north of Trenton, and then dropping southward through southeastern Pennsylvania. This will continue to crash towards the coast as our 850 millibar low develops over the coastal waters. Taking a look at 925 millibars, and you can see it's consolidated nicely, and the warming has pretty much abated and stalled out just to the north of Long Island at 925 millibars, cutting through northern New Jersey pretty much as expected, and starting to drop south through central Pennsylvania and pushing to the southeast. Again, pretty much a lot of this has been expected. The forecast pretty much has evolved almost as expected. Some locations are not going to verify. We'll talk about that in a second. Taking a look at the latest HRR guidance, there's our precipitation lifting northward. We start to see precipitation redeveloping tomorrow morning after 9, really after 8 a.m., and expanding and pushing towards the coast. And again, during this time period, this is where we're going to see some very heavy snowfall over northern New Jersey, building into the New York City metro. And then that will continue to swing through New England. Now, for those of you who are football fans, the Jets Patriots game is going to be featuring some very heavy snowfall, but the Giants Eagles game, maybe a few passing snow showers, and then that is about it during the first quarter. No other significant impacts are expected. Again, looking at the forecast here, we're going to wait to see whether or not this verifies. Some locations in the red zone have already verified, others have not. So we'll see how that works out. Not looking good in terms of the forecast for Lancaster, and certainly not Reading, where it was expected to stay snow a little bit longer. But again, not looking like it's going to reach that 6 inch mark. But Allentown on northward looks to be very good. Northern New Jersey looks to be very good. Again, we'll see what happens around New York City, whether or not we get that 2, 3 inches. Doesn't look that great right now, but again, we'll see how everything pans out tomorrow morning. North end of Long Island's going to get very close. Connecticut looks good. Southern New Jersey, of course, looks good. Trenton's already verified at that 1 inch with the 1 to 3 inches. We'll see what happens in Philadelphia, but again, that's going to be a close call. And again, over central Long Island, this looks like a good bet with the snowfall coming through tomorrow as temperatures falling into towards freezing. So we'll have updates returning tomorrow at 7 a.m. and we'll see how the rest of the storm evolves. And then we'll get ready for our next storm that's coming up on Tuesday that looks like it's going to produce widespread flooding and wind damages, which is something that could be very concerning on Wednesday morning with a lot of power outages, down trees, and whatnot. So something to really keep an eye on. That's it for tonight. Thank you for following, and as always, stay safe out there.